Well, good evening, everybody. If you're watching this video, my hope is that you are a member of the class of TCEM 219, Sports Event Management and Marketing. My name is Professor JJ DeBarras. I'll be your teacher here for the next 6 weeks or so as we go through, again, our Sports Event Management and Marketing class. So a little bit about me, give you my background. Grew up in Newport Heights, Ohio. Came to Indiana in 1991 to attend Butler University, where I have my degree in marketing from. From there, went into a career of collegiate and professional sports marketing. I had the privilege of working for the Indiana Pacers. Went on then to Purdue University as their coordinator of athletic promotions. Came back to Butler University as the first ever full-time ticket manager, eventually getting up to the ranks of director of sports marketing. Then get out of athletics, spent a little time in staffing, and then actually been in the hospitality industry for the last 10 years, which actually has allowed me to kind of see things from a different perspective when it comes to event management. And recently was just promoted within our company to be the regional director of sales for General Hotels for our West region. So again, you might be getting some of these videos while I'm on at different properties over in Illinois, which is the west part of our territory. So I'm married, my wife of almost 20 years, be this August. We have 3 beautiful children, very fortunate. You'll hear me talk about Wilson and Riley and my 2 boys. And then you also hear me talk about my angel baby, which is my daughter Catherine, who unfortunately we lost to SIDS when she was 15 weeks old. The reason I bring that up is we do have a fundraiser we do in her name called Count It for Cat. And I will reference that every now and then because it truly is a great event for this class. Doing some of the different things we're going to talk about, the paper test, which we'll get into here in a little bit. But it's a great event to kind of look at and see, again, really everything that we talk about in this class can be applied to that particular event. So you'll hear me bring it up every now and then. Other cool things, again, I'm an avid runner. I like to run 5Ks. I've done a few half marathons. You guys will see me on occasion with my Butler gear on. I am a big Butler fan, season ticket holder, as well as, again, we have a scholarship stuff in my daughter's name over there. So, but very, very happy, very, very proud to be part of the whole IUPUI program. This is the second class that I teach. I teach a convention sales class for the hospitality school, both in the fall and the spring. And again, have the privilege of teaching the sports event management and marketing class, which is near and dear to my heart because that's where I spent a good portion of my time in my early career. So, again, just some quick housekeeping items, if you will. Syllabus is online. All the assignments are written out there. If you guys have any questions about these, please email me or feel free to text or call me. You have my cell phone number. I'll have a new office number posted shortly. I just took on this regional director's position here recently, and I actually have not even left my current position to go do this one yet, so I don't have a new office telephone number yet. As soon as I do, I'll make sure you guys have access to that as well. If at any time you need to talk to me in person, again, feel free to reach out to me. I can always come over to campus, or we can meet at one of the hotels that's part of our family of properties. So, other things, again, this is a quick course. It's 6 weeks. These lectures are basically for me to kind of just hit on some of the main topics that'll be in the different chapters, although we call them plays in this book, which I absolutely love. So again, not going to be greatly in depth. The book is where you want to do most of your time. Understand the concepts, understand the bold, understand all of the how the examples play into what they're trying to teach you guys. So this is a fantastic book. I have told my superiors at IUPUI I would love to have this course for a much greater length of time. There's all kinds of opportunities to do different things. Unfortunately, that's not what we got. We got 6 weeks, so we'll do the best we can in that time period. We're going to move pretty quick, obviously, and a lot of this is obviously on you guys. So again, if something is not clear, if you're not grasping it, please do not wait till we're 3 weeks into the class and past our first exam before you start asking questions. You have my you have my cell phone. Please, you're more than welcome to text me. I will have my cell phone on me at all times. I don't always respond back right away, but usually within the 24 hours, you'll hear back from me. So, again, this is a quick class. There's a lot of information to cover. Again, if you're feeling behind or you don't understand something, don't hesitate to reach out to me. Other than that, again, we have 2 exams. Everything's listed on there. You've got 6 discussions that we want to make sure you guys are posting on, giving your opinion, going back to what's in the book, as well as making sure you're also looking at your classmates and responding to theirs as well. And then we also have 2 case studies. So again, it's a quick class. It's a great class. Again, hopefully you guys are taking this class because you want to go into the sports marketing or sports event world. I will say my 10 years that I spent there was absolutely phenomenal. I would not trade them for anything. Yes, they were stressful. Yes, there were long hours, but the experiences that I got to be a part of and the friendships that I made, I wouldn't trade for anything in this world. So again, it's an exciting industry, and I hope this class will lead you into it and again on to bigger and better things. So real quick, looking at the introduction and play one of the book, we're going to cover those real quickly tonight. Some things they talked about in the introduction, and we're going to talk about events and how we lay out really any event. Although again, we focus a lot on the sports events here, but this is true of any event, whether it's a meeting, whether it's a sporting event, what have you. We're going to talk about objectives, how you develop your plan. Are you going to be raising revenues? If you're raising revenues just to cover your cost, are you actually trying to gain profit? Are you fundraising? We're going to touch on all of those. How you assemble your team. Again, you guys are only as good as the people you put around you, and I truly, truly believe that. And then when it comes to event planning, that is as true as the day is long. If you don't have good people, if you don't have people who believe in your objectives, then you're going to have issues. Again, who you have working for you goes a very, very long way. Obviously, you're going to have budgets, you got to monitor cost. The sports event world, a lot of times we see the big events like the Super Bowl, we see the big events like the World Series, and we talk about millions and billions of dollars. Those are obviously the outliers, if you will. When we talk a lot of the events that we're playing in the sports world, we're talking about high school events, little league tournaments. If you're fortunate enough to get to the college level, a women's soccer game, a Division I football game, a Division I basketball game, all of these have cost associated with them, and we'll get into this a little bit in the book. One of the things you have to look at is, again, what is the purpose of this event? Is it to bring attention to the university and provide a event for the participants and an experience for them as well as our fan base, or are we trying to raise revenues? We're trying to raise awareness. Again, what is the purpose of our event? What's our objective? Okay, and that's going to go a long way on how you set up your budgets and how you monitor your costs. Obviously, the other big thing we're going to talk a great deal about is how you assess what's going on with the planning stages of your event. You've got to look at it with a very sharp eye, with a very critical eye. Again, there are some fantastic examples of the city of Indianapolis, and we're very blessed, you guys, that we live in a city that puts on major events. Again, from the Super Bowls to the Big Ten championships to USA Swimming and Diving. If any of you have been watching the news, this week has been called the Monumental Week because I think we had 16 different events going on in the city and over 200,000 people coming in to partake in them. And again, that was everything from the diving trials to USA Volleyball's in town right now to Justin Bieber concerts, and I believe it was the Committee on Mayors or Governors are all in town. So again, you've got to monitor how you're leading up to those events so that you know where your pitfalls are, you know where your strengths are, you know where things have to be corrected before you actually get to the event itself. So again, continual assessment is going to be a very, very important part of what we do. Obviously, adjusting to changing conditions. This can be anything from, we're going to have a ticketed event, and as we're getting closer to the event date, we're realizing that tickets aren't selling. What are we going to do? Do we lower prices? Do we do more advertisement? Do we go after a specific group? How do we change our message? All of that, we're going to change two other conditions too. The economy gets bad. How does that affect things? All of a sudden, maybe there's a national disaster, and we've got to work around that. There's all kinds of things that can affect your events, and we're going to work on, again, how we adjust to the changing conditions that will arise prior to and even during our actual event. And then the last thing we're going to do, obviously, is evaluate the event. You're going to take a step back when the event's over. We're going to get together with people who had some sort of involvement with our event. We're going to say, okay, let's do a true assessment. Where did we drop the ball? Where were we stellar? Where can we improve upon? What's the feedback from our sponsors? What's the feedback from the attendees, the people maybe who participated in it? How were our volunteers? What did they feel about the event? And we take all that information, and that's how we're going to evaluate how our event went. And then we're going to use that information for hopefully the next event that we put on. So again, we're going to talk a lot about these events, just things you guys keep in mind. When we talk about sports events and sports marketing, there's a lot of emotion involved. I mean, any of us who have followed a team know that wins and losses can hurt deeply. Whether that's our alma maters in college, whether that's a professional team that represents our city, whether it's your son or daughter playing in a Little League game, for a championship. Again, it's an emotion-based industry. So that's something we're going to want to keep in mind. What kind of fans we go after? How do we categorize our fans? That's going to be very important. Again, are we going after a certain generation of fans? Are we going after a certain demographic? People who have played, people who have never heard about us? Is it going to be family only? Is it going to be singles? Is it going to, how are we going to divide up where our attentions are going to be? So, we're going to talk a lot about corporate investment. The sports world has changed so drastically in the last 30 to 40 years where it used to be you could probably put a sign up on the outfield wall and that was sponsorship. Well, that no longer is the case. The involvement by corporations goes so much further now from just that simple recognition to how, we'll see corporate strategies based around their involvement in sports and athletics or events. And again, there's a new component then as far as generating revenue, generating foot traffic, generating web traffic. What is the objective of our sponsors? To why are they involved with us? What are they hoping to see out of it? And we're going to talk about a lot of that. We're going to, in going into that, I'm going to jump ahead topics here. Understanding our stakeholders' objectives. It says USO in the book. This is going to be incredibly important. When we put on events, the idea is to have a win-win-win, if you will. And it could even have more wins in there, but the three basic ones, obviously we as an organizer, we want to win. We want this to come off the way we want it to. If we have corporate involvement from a sponsorship standpoint, they have to win. They have to get whatever the objective was of their being a part of our event. Again, was it recognition? Was it revenue generation? Was it just awareness of certain products? And then obviously those involved in the event, and whether that's the participants, and again, think of like the mini marathon, or whether it's an athletic event such as Butler playing IUPUI in basketball. Did they win? Was the environment sound? Was it encouraging? Was it a great experience? Did they walk away saying, man, I would love to play, in the jungle at IUPUI. I'd love to play back at Hinkle again because the environment was what we wanted. So we're going to take into account a lot of different things. The other thing I want to make sure you guys look in your book. It's fantastic. I'll try to pronounce this gentleman's name right. Sapovitz Flying Wedge. And it really kind of lays out how you will pick your staff, how they will affect the event, how you'll, again, the wedge. And again, it's a great, great story. How that wedge, how that team comes together to get past things that are in our way and forward on to our objectives. So that's our introduction chapter. Bear with me just a minute here because as I talk, I've got to take a drink. So as we get into play one or chapter one, the main thing is we're going to talk about why we're having the event. In other words, what's our objective? And that is the beginning of any event. Why are we doing this? Why are we going to take time and energy and possibly money to put on this event? Is it a fundraiser? Is it something to generate profit? Is it more of just an experience base that, it's something that we're passionate in and we want everybody to run a half marathon in Eagle Creek? Or is it a Little League tournament that we're just hoping that, we can provide an experience for youth baseball? We have to know that objective up front because that's going to actually kind of drive us to where we're going to go and who we're going to involve. The biggest thing to get out of play one is the paper test. And I cannot stress this enough. This will be used throughout the entire 6 weeks. Just a quick going over the paper test. Paper stands for promotion, so the marketing communication strategies and tactics that we're going to use. Audience, who are we going after? Again, is it the participants or is it the attendees? What have you? We got to figure that out. Partnerships, okay? So what relationships or associations do we need to successfully pull off this event? Is it having the school behind us? This is going to be a school-sanctioned event. Is it having certain sponsorships behind us? Do we have to have, the Carmel Runners Club? Because, this event's going to be held up in Carmel and we need their backing because they're going to bring a ton of resources to us that we don't already have. What kind of environment? There's factors that can directly and indirectly affect the success and planning and execution of these events. What's the environment we're working in? Again, do we have to worry about the actual environment? We're going to be outside worrying about weather. Do we have to worry about, and again, I'll go back to the event side that isn't always sports. Think about when the NRA came to town. And some of you, I don't know if you remember this, but 3 or 4 years ago, the NRA had their national conference in Indianapolis. You talk about an environment. First off, that's a lightning rod group. And you're coming into Indianapolis, which probably is more of your conservative areas, but you had protesters, you had counter-protesters. What's the environment going to be like? What do we have to be aware of? Is security going to be an issue? Is flow of traffic? Is an area for these people to voice their opinions? Do we need to set that up and monitor it? So again, we're going to talk about that environment, how it factors into the event itself. And then obviously, lastly, is revenue. What are we, from a financial standpoint, trying to do? Are we just trying to break even? and pay for the event itself, because all we really want to do is offer this experience to the participants. Are we trying to fundraise? Again, I go back to our event called Count It for Cat. The idea is that we're trying to generate funds for a scholarship that's set up in my daughter's name. So again, that's one of our objectives. Are we a Division I institution? We're Ohio State football, and we're trying to generate funds because those funds from football help pay for the other 36 sports I think that Ohio State has. So again, what are our revenue objectives from that point? And this paper test is absolutely phenomenal, and there are so many good examples in this in Play 1. Guys, really take a good hard look at that. That's going to be a key component that we're going to use throughout the class. So a few other things. We talked about objectives, and again, objectives kind of are what we wish to achieve. This is this is why we're doing the event. Okay. Then we're going to talk about strategies in the book, and the strategies are kind of your roadmap, if you will, that's going to get you to accomplish the objectives. And then the last thing you have in here are tactics. And tactics are what, the actions we need to follow the roadmap. And tactics usually is where your expenses start to come in. What exactly are we going to do? We say that we want to draw, 14 and under volleyball players from Indianapolis. That's kind of our strategy. We think that'll help fill our event. Well, how are we going to do that? Well, we're going to advertise on stations that we think they listen to. We're going to advertise in the sports page to get a hold of their parents. We're going to send flyers out to all of the clubs around Indianapolis, as well as all the junior highs and high schools on down the line. Those tactics then, of course, obviously incur costs, and now we get into the whole budget and revenue and that kind of stuff. So that is a nutshell, or that is a Play 1 and introduction in a nutshell, if you will, of what's here to be covered. So again, guys, really dive into the book. This book gives so many fantastic examples. I cannot say enough about the book, and you'll hear me harp on it the entire 6 weeks, so I apologize in advance. But stay on top of this. Make sure you read the sideline stories. Make sure you read the examples in the book. They bring the other information to life, if you will. They actually can really kind of give you, it's one thing to look at this and say, okay, I know the book information, but to actually see it brought to life should help you guys in the understandings. Again, I say, if anything is unclear, if you're having trouble anywhere, do not hesitate to reach out to me. Again, my telephone number is on the syllabus, but if you're seeing this first for the syllabus, it is 317-289-2363, 317-289-2363. Anytime, call, text. Again, you guys have got my email. Reach out to me, okay? I want to make sure that we stay on top of things. We only have 6 weeks. So again, guys, best of luck. Enjoy this class. I look forward to hearing from all of you.